Hello, darling. It's great to see you again, and thanks for joining me for today's video. Okay, so today I'm going to do a review of the 12-volt Roadpro roaster. Woohoo! Yes, that's right, a review of the 12-volt Roadpro roaster. Woohoo! And I'm going to show you why I recommend this product and why it's really popular and why it's a great addition to have in your van or in your car or in your caravan, truck, camper, micro apartment, dorm, or wherever. Now this video is not sponsored. This is my own 12-volt Roadpro roaster. And oh my God, I love this roaster, I really do. It's definitely one of the best gadgets that I have bought for my van. Now I got this from Amazon. I can't remember how much. It was about $70 or $75, something like that. And you can get them from other online stores, including eBay, Temu, and camping stores, etc. And see if you can get them on special and on sale if you can, so you can save money. And all you need is a power station. Okay, so this is my power station. It's a 600 watt V2OMM power station. And so we just plug it, so we just plug it into your power station and turn it on like so. Now, if you don't have, let's fix that phone up a bit. If you don't have a power station in your van or in your car, don't worry. Just use the cigarette lighter in your vehicle. And as you can see, it's got an on-off switch like that, and the light comes on when it's on. Okay, so I'm going to let the Roadpro roaster heat up for 10 minutes or so before I start cooking. So it's always a good idea to make sure that you always heat up the roaster first for a few minutes before you start cooking. And make sure that you keep the lid on it and make sure that it's locked, because you don't want to be losing any heat while you're warming up the roaster. Ooh, forgot to take you out. Okay, now with the roaster, you can use tin foils, which is what I'm going to do, which makes for easy cleaning. Or you can use a glass baking dish, which is what I'm going to get. Or you can just cook straight out of the roaster, which is what I have done many times. And I've noticed that when I've cooked out of the roaster, it's always easy to clean. I'll put that over there for a minute. Okay, now you can cook anything and everything in the roaster, including rice, pasta, vegetables, meat, desserts, etc. And I've cooked lots of different recipes in the roaster. including chicken parmigiana, vegetable soup. What else have I cooked? Chinese special fried rice as well as pancakes too. You can bake a cake in it if you want to. It all just comes back to your imagination and what you want to cook in the roaster. You can use it to cook, say for example, eggs and bacon for breakfast, or Irish stew for lunch, or a casserole for dinner, or apple pie for dessert, or whatever. Okay, and as you can see, it's a perfect size for 1 to 2 people. So if you're living in a small space like a van or a caravan or a micro apartment or wherever, and if there's just you, if you're single, or if you have a partner, this is ideal for you. This is another thing that I love about the roaster, because it's small. It doesn't take up much space in my van, which is another advantage. When I'm not using it, I just put it away in the containers where I keep all of my kitchen appliances on the shelf over there, and it doesn't take up any space in my van, which is another thing that I love about the Roadpro roaster. And because there's only me, I'm only cooking for myself, so that's why it's perfect. And I'm going to be honest with you. When I'm cooking in my van, I prefer to cook with the Roadpro roaster because it's safer. Don't get me wrong, occasionally I do cook in my van using the gas stove. Look, everyone who lives in a van cooks in their van using a gas stove, including myself. But the thing is that every time I'm cooking in my van using the gas stove, I always feel a bit uncomfortable because I don't like to use an open flame in the van. Nobody wants their van to catch fire, do they? And neither do I. This is why I feel more comfortable cooking in my van with the Roadpro roaster, because it's safer, because it's electrical. And occasionally I'll cook in my van using both the Roadpro roaster as well as my gas stove. And I made a video where I was cooking in the van using both the gas stove as well as the roaster. What was that video called? I think it was just called Cooking in the Van. So you can check out that video if you want to. Now, speaking from my personal experience, I noticed that when you're cooking in your Roadpro roaster, if you're cooking frozen vegetables, make sure you always thaw out the vegetables first before you cook them in the roaster. Because I remember the first time that I cooked frozen vegetables in the roaster, and I noticed there was water in the roaster which came from the frozen vegetables, which did not evaporate, and that water made the vegetables go soggy. So that's when I realized, okay, from now on, when I'm cooking frozen vegetables in the the roaster, I need to thaw them out first. So if you're cooking frozen vegetables in your Roadpro roaster, make sure that you thaw them out first. And another thing that I noticed is that because one time I was cooking roast potatoes in the roaster, and even though I cut up the potatoes into small pieces, and even though they were delicious and they came out nice and crispy, they still took ages to cook. I mean, they took over an hour and a half to cook, and my power, I used up all the power in my power station. Now that reminds me is that always make sure that you fully charge your power station first before using your Roadpro roaster, because the last thing you want to happen is to get halfway through cooking or 3/4 of the way through cooking and run out of power. So always make sure that your power station is 100% fully charged before you start cooking in your Roadpro roaster. I mean, especially if you're going to be cooking something that's going to take a long time to cook, like for an hour or two. So it's most important that your power station is 100% fully charged before cooking in your Roadpro roaster. Okay, now another thing that I've noticed is that when I'm cooking with my Roadpro roaster is that I've noticed that tinned vegetables, tinned food, cook best, they cook the easiest, and they cook the quickest in the roaster. And that's why I prefer to cook with tinned food, like tinned vegetables in the roaster, because I've noticed with fresh vegetables like potatoes, carrots, etc., they take a really longer time to cook. And another thing I want to mention while I remember is that just like with cooking in your van with any other appliance, always make sure that you use common sense and safety precautions, because that's most important. And it's a good idea to have a fire extinguisher in your van or a fire blanket. Now what I do is before I start cooking, whether I'm using my Roadpro roaster or my gas stove or whatever, I always get my fire blanket ready first. And what I do is I have this and I just sit it next to me on the couch here. So in case I need it, I can just grab it. And what I do is I take it out of the packaging. So in case I need it, I can just grab it, unfold it, and throw it onto wherever I need to, in case the fire starts. Because the last thing you want to do is to have a fire in your van, like I said earlier. And I'll just put that there for now. And once the fire starts, they spread really quickly. And I know because I've done a course on fire. Because when I was working for the Home Health Services a few years ago, we had to do a fire course. And I learned how quickly fire spreads and how to put out a fire, etc. And so therefore, always have your fire blanket and fire extinguisher ready before you start cooking, so that way if you need to grab it straight away, you can grab it and just chuck it onto the fire, because a fire can spread as quickly as less than 3 seconds. And you don't want to be like fiddling around, grabbing a fire extinguisher from out of the cupboard or whatever. Well, your fire is taking off. You don't want that, because fire will happen so quickly. So for that reason, make sure you have your fire blanket ready, or your fire extinguisher, or both ready beforehand, just in case. I mean, hopefully you won't need to use it, but at least it's there ready just in case you do. And another thing is, that I use these are cork placemats. And what I do is I put this underneath the appliance that I'm cooking, so that I will protect the bench or the table from the heat of the appliance, especially if you're cooking with things like that use a lot of heat, like for example air fryers and gas stoves. So that's a good idea. And I'll just show you what I mean. So here's the roaster, as you can see, and there is and there underneath it is my cork placemat, and cork is great. So okay, so now that the Roadpro is heated up, it's time to start cooking. Woohoo! Ooh. Okay, so I'm using canola oil. I've got the spray. Bit of a shake. I'm going to spray it into the tin foil. And over here I have, got there for now, a couple of chicken kebabs. So I'm going to take the chicken off this, off the skewers like so. Okay, and this one too. Beautiful. Just spread that out evenly, like so. Alright, let's turn you around like that. And we're going to do them. Okay, you can go into there. Beautiful. Okay, so I'm going to put that over there for now. So I'm going to let that cook. I think the chicken kebabs are going to take maybe about 20-25 minutes or so to cook. So I'm going to cook them for 10 minutes or so first. And then I've got some peas and carrots, which I'm going to add. Go there for a minute. So, like I said, let the chicken cook for about 10 minutes or so. And then I'm going to add the peas and carrots. And then we're going to cook the vegetables together with the chicken. And as you can see, we've got using the tin foil. And I recommend recommend that when you're cooking in your van using the Roadpro roaster, it's always a good idea to cook with tin foil because, oh my God, not only is it so convenient, but it makes cleaning so much easier because when I finish cooking, all I have to do is throw away the tin foil and just put the Roadpro roaster away. I don't have to worry about cleaning it or anything. And by using tin foils in the roaster, oh my God, it just makes van life so much more easier. So that's why I recommend using the tin foils when you're cooking in your Roadpro roaster, especially when you're cooking in your van. What do you think of my new lamp? Isn't that pretty? That's a USB lamp. I bought this one from Temu. It's a USB lamp and oh my God, it looks so pretty on there. And I have another new lamp which is also USB as well, which I got these from Temu. And they make the van look so much more homier and make it feel a lot more comfortable and a lot brighter too. So if you're like me and if you love like vintage rechargeable lanterns and lamps, they have heaps of different varieties on Temu at great prices, so have a look at Temu for them. Okay, so give this a bit of a stir. So the chicken is cooking nicely. It smells delicious. Give you a look. I'm not sure if you got to see that properly. Okay, so I'm going to stir the chicken every now and then. And we put the lid back on. And then we lock it. And these are really great because I've had this Roadpro roaster for a few years now. I got my van back in 2021. And I think it was 2022 when I got this Roadpro roaster from Amazon, and it hasn't let me down yet. So I've definitely had my money's worth. So they are great value for money. So if you buy a Roadpro roaster, it will last you for many years. So let me know in the comment section, what recipes do you like to cook in your van? Love to cook chicken kebabs, pizza, spaghetti bolognese, or whatever. Let me know in the comment section because I would love to hear what's your favorite recipes that you love to cook in your van. Can definitely smell them marinated now. I wanted to get honey and soy marinated chicken kebabs, but lately they haven't had any honey and soy, which is disappointing because that's my favourite. So the only other marinated chicken kebabs that they had there was barbecue. And look at that. Beautiful. It's cooking along really nicely now. And it smells absolutely delicious. I can't wait for lunch to be ready. I'm starting to feel hungry now. Woohoo! And so this is a great way to cook in your van. Like I said, if you're especially if you're someone like me who feels uncomfortable with cooking on a gas stove in your van because it's an open flame, this is ideal for you. So whatever appliance that you're cooking in your van, whether it be a gas stove. Oh, sorry about that. I think that was a noise from the speaker. I might have to get a new microphone. I'm not sure why this does it, but a few people have said to me in the comment section about how this microphone makes an annoying noise. And I'm not exactly sure why that is, but I think it could be a few reasons, including my cochlear implant. It could also be because of the van, because the van is metal. So therefore, I might have to see about getting another microphone. So I might have to take, I'll move that around a bit like that, see if that helps. If it's because of my cochlear implant, I might have to stop wearing the microphone and maybe pin it to my top. Maybe that will help, I don't know. But I'll see what happens. So please let me know in the comment section if you still hear that annoying noise from the microphone. I might have to see about getting another microphone. Okay, so getting back to what I was saying, before I do, let's just check these. Look at that, beautiful. Coming along nicely. Right now I'm going to add the vegetables. Look at that. Look how the chicken's coming along. Delicious. Yum. Okay, we'll put the lid back on that. Okay, so now that the chicken is nearly halfway done, I might have to turn this microphone off. If it doesn't stop making, I will. Okay, I think that's better. I had to turn the microphone off because it's just making that noise. I can't hear it, but I can tell when the microphone is making that annoying noise because I can feel the vibration. That's how I know. Because when you're deaf, you can feel different vibrations, and that's how I can tell. Okay, so now that the chicken is about halfway cooked, I've added the peas and corn, sorry, the peas and carrots. So we're going to finish cooking them. They're going to cook with the meat now, with the chicken. So getting back to what I was saying is that when you're cooking in your van, especially if you're cooking using a gas stove, so make sure that you always have like plenty of ventilation, like keep your side door open or a couple of windows. Make sure that you have a carbon monoxide detector because that's most important. And I have something like this, like I mentioned, this is a cook placemat, or you can use wood or whatever underneath your gas stove or air fryer or whatever to protect, to stop the heat from ruining your table or bench. And always make sure that the appliance that you're cooking on or cooking with is sitting on a stable surface like a table or bench or whatever, but it must be stable because that's most important. Okay, so let's have another look, shall we? And just give it a bit of a stir. Oh, I love cooking in the van, I really do. Look at that, beautiful. So that's coming along nicely. Oh my God, I love cooking in my van, I really do. I mean, well, who doesn't like cooking in a van? I mean, if you're living in your van, you still have to cook and eat anyway, whether you're homeless or not, don't you? And I remember when I first moved into my car, when I first became homeless, and I did not know anything about those cooking appliances back then. You know, I did not know that they had 12-volt roasters that you could cook in your car or in your van, or mini rice cookers, and, you know. And so when I first moved into my car, because I learned from experience and I learned as I went, you know, just learning one new thing at a time. And then I learned another new thing and so on and so on. So when I first started living in my car, I first started, you know, just living on takeaway. But then I realised I can't stay living on takeaway because that was too expensive. And so then I just started living on tin food and just eating straight out of the tin. You know, just eating it cold straight out of the tin at the start. And but then, you know, just eating things like fresh fruits and non-cooked meals like sandwiches and wraps. They were the main things that I was living on, you know. But as time went on, you know, and I did my research and watching all these different van life YouTube videos and stuff, you know, I learned about, you know, cooking in the van and cooking with different appliances and stuff, and that's when I thought, okay, I'm going to buy the 12-volt Roadpro roaster, and oh my god, it was a game changer. It really was. It was so nice to be able to cook a nice home-cooked warm meal in my van for a change. And, you know, I remember the first time when I was cooking in my Roadpro roaster in my van, I'm thinking, oh my god, this is the best thing that I've ever bought for my van. I just felt like as if I was back home again. You know, it was just great. So if you're going to be evicted and if you can't find any affordable housing available because, well, there's not much, if there's any, I don't think there's any available anymore, you know, and you're going to be living in your van or in your car or minivan or whatever, make sure that you get a cooking appliance before you move into your van, whether it be a gas stove or a Roadpro roaster or a mini rice cooker or whatever, because you're definitely going to need it. And these appliances, they are such a game changer. They really are. They make van life so much more easier, so much more convenient. And I realise now that there's no way I'd be able to live in my van without my Roadpro roaster, because you still need to cook, you know, and it's great. But I also think it's a good idea to have both a gas stove as well as some type of electrical appliance, whether it be a Roadpro roaster or an air fryer or whatever. Because I've learned from experience is that there are times, occasionally, when I've run out of gas, and, you know, because I've run out of gas, I've got my Roadpro roaster there so I can still cook. However, there have also been other times when I do not have any power in my power station, and therefore having a gas stove is great too. So you can have so what I'm saying is that it's a good idea to have a different couple of appliances, meaning one electric as well as one gas stove, you know, because, I mean, you can also cook with both of them together if you want to. You know, I've done that many times too. But there will be times when you might run out of gas or power or whatever, and so whatever happens, you've still got backup. You see what I mean? So if I run out of gas, I can use my Roadpro roaster. If I run out of power, I can always cook with my gas stove. You see what I mean? Oh, wow. Ooh. Oh, wow, that's delicious. Let's try a bit of chicken, shall we? Okay, that's very good. Put the lid back on there. I'm going to let that cook for another 5 minutes or so, maybe 10 minutes. It's cooked, but I like my chicken to be cooked really properly, so for that reason I'm going to let that cook for a few more minutes, and then I'm going to serve it up, and then woohoo! Oh my god, I'm getting so hungry now. So yeah, so if you're going to be moving into your van or into your car, minivan, whatever, get everything that you need. Make sure you have at least 2 cooking appliances. So one will be a gas stove, and the other one will be an electric appliance, cooking appliance, whether it be a Roadpro roaster or an air fryer or rice cooker or whatever. But I absolutely recommend the 12-volt Roadpro roaster, and depending on what you're cooking and how long you'll be cooking for, they can either use a lot of power or hardly any power. And like I said, because of the size, I don't have to worry about it taking up any space in my van. And I mean, you can see why the 12-volt Roadpro roasters are very, very popular. And there are many videos on YouTube videos about cooking in the Roadpro roaster. So you can check out those videos. You know, get lots of different ideas. You can buy a cookbook for the Roadpro roaster cookbook, because the manufacturers, they've released a cookbook as well. I mean, you can cook anything and everything in there. And when I'm cooking, what I like to do is I like to cook 2 meals at once. You know, so I like to cook like I'll cook dinner for one night, but I'll cook double the amount. So therefore I've got dinner again for the next night. So in other words, you cook once but eat twice. And that's another great idea, especially when you're living in your van. Okay, so let's have a look at the power, shall we? Now, when I first started using the power station, when I first plugged in, the Roadpro was 100% fully charged, and now we're down to 61%, so that's not too bad. Like, I remember the time when I was cooking the potatoes, the roasted potatoes in here, and they came out delicious. But they took over, even though they cut really tiny, quite small, they still took over an hour and a half to cook. And my power station was 100% fully charged before I started cooking them. And then by the time I finished cooking them, I had no power left. So this is what I'm saying. Make sure, you know, your power station is always fully charged before cooking. And so if you're going to be using your Roadpro roaster to cook, say, for breakfast, lunch and dinner each day, That means you're going to have to recharge your power station between each time you're cooking. So that means you're going to have to charge your power station fully charged after you cook breakfast. And then you're going to have to cook, you're going to have to fully recharge your power station again after you cook lunch. And then you're going to have to do the same again after you cook dinner. So, okay, so let's check this out. Oh my God. Now that's looking much better. Look at that, beautiful. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to turn the Roadpro off now because we're finished cooking. And then I'll turn the power station off too. So what we do, as you can see, we've got the switch there. So we just turn the switch off and the light goes off. Oh. You're not going to believe what I just did. Oh my God, I can feel my heart beating. Now that's the second time that I've done this now. You think that I would have learned the first time, but no. So I turned the Roadpro off, and I went to unplug. Oh my God, I can't believe I just did this. So I went to unplug the Roadpro from the power station, and the thing is, the cable is really hot. And as I grabbed the cable, I got a burn, I got a shock in my fingers. Oh my God, it was quite painful too. So, whatever you do, and here I am talking about, oh my God, I can't believe it. I sound like a freaking hypocrite, don't I? Because here I am preaching about common sense and safety precautions. And what am I going to do? I gotta get an electric shock from trying to unplug the power station because it's really hot. Oh my God. So please, once you finish using your appliance, do not touch the plug because it's really hot. At least let it cool down first before you touch it. Oh my God. And I mean, I should have known that because I've done this before. This is the second time now. Hopefully I'll learn this time. Okay, so let's serve it up. So we'll put it back on and we'll lock it up. Now, another thing that I forgot to mention is that the Roadpro roaster gets very hot. So be very careful when you touch it. So look at that, beautiful. Look how the chicken has turned out, beautiful. Oh my God, it smells lovely. As you can see. And as you can see, because of this tin foil, I don't have any mess to clean up. I just let it cool down, and when I finish eating, I just throw away the tin foil, and then I just put the Roadpro roaster away back over on the shelf over there. And then all I have to do is just clean the fork. Simple. Want a bite? Mmm. 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 Delicious, absolutely delicious. And it smells yummy too. This is why I recommend the 12-volt Roadpro roaster when you're cooking in your van. And this is also why I recommend using the tin foils when you're cooking in your roaster. And because the last thing you want to do is to cook inside the roaster, and then you've got to spend 10 minutes or so cleaning it, when you can avoid all that by just using the tin foils and cooking it this way, and this makes van life so much easier. It really does. Now let's try the vegetables, shall we? Oh my God, delicious. I'm going to give this, 10 out of 10. Well, realistic, I should say 9 out of 10, but beautiful. Okay. Okay, so 52 minutes. I think that video's long enough. I wasn't expecting to make this video for this long, but I think I've covered everything from safety precautions to, I think I've covered everything that I needed to say that's important. Okay, so thanks for joining me for today's video. I really appreciate it. Please subscribe to my channel to support me. And don't forget to give my videos a thumbs up. And I will see you, darling, in my next video. I'll just put that over there for now. So, until then, please take care. Please take care. And, of course, drive safely. Bye-bye, darling.